And we are live. Good evening, folks. Mobile Geezer here, and
and Will.
Okay, it's Mobile Geezer and Will. Those are the names of our respective channels. So if you want to subscribe to Mobile Geezer or Will, you're on mine. You can always go subscribe to him. He's got a fairly new channel, and he's putting out good content. And this is my jealousy speaking. Every time he puts out a new video, it's better than the last one.
Oh man, George, I'm trying to get to your level, man.
Well, you got to get old first.
Yeah.
So I hope you all saw that Mike from SimplyYourDevice, this would have been his week to broadcast, but his mom is having some issues, and she had to have a procedure in a hospital, and she wasn't doing so well. But now she just got a message. She's doing much better. She ate. She's talking to the grandkids. So prayers are answered there. So anybody who wants to say some prayers for Carol Dixon, please do so. They'll be greatly appreciated. So it's one of those weeks where it wasn't a whole lot going on in the mobile tech world this week, but we do have a few things. So the first thing that I put on our agenda is that OnePlus surprisingly has promised Android P for both the OnePlus 3 and the OnePlus 3T, both 2-year-old phones. So the article came out on Android Police, and it says OnePlus promises Android P for 2-year-old 3 and 3T against all expectations. And that's true. Nobody expected them to be putting Android P on 2-year-old phones, but that bodes very well. And basically, that's the gist of the story. I did see, I don't know if I saw it in this story or somewhere else, that 5 and 5T would be getting it later on, and I have the 5T, so of course I'm very interested in that. Now, the only one here who's seen Android P is you, right, Will?
Seen what? Android P? Oh, you've never been on the beta?
No, I have no phones that would have gone on the beta. So tell anybody anything you want about Android P.
I haven't tried it for the OnePlus yet, but I've tried it on the Pixel 2 XL. I do like it. It's mostly refinement, but it's definitely good. To me, on the 2 XL, the battery life actually got better.
Okay, cool.
They do have a couple new features. They have adaptive brightness as opposed to what was it called before? There's adaptive brightness, and before it had a different name. And then they have adaptive battery, which I guess that's what makes my battery life seems like it's getting better.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've got the gesture controls where I don't really use them, but you can for right now anyway. Before it was final, I don't know if they're gonna leave it. You're able to turn it on and off. You can turn on if you want to be able to swipe up to get to your recents, and then you have like a little pill. I don't really use it because to me it's not as smooth as the iPhone 10, so I'd rather just use the buttons. What else does it come with? They changed the background of the notification shade now. It's I think it's white and blue are the colors they went with. Some people don't like it because it's really white. They changed the settings menu is more colorful now. They give you a theme where you can make the theme dark, at least on the Pixel 2 XL anyway. You can choose like a dark theme now. It's not as dark as most people would want. It's not like a black for everything, but it's better than the bright colors.
Now, single out what you think is the most important new feature from Android P. Because we all trust your judgment.
The most important feature. Oh wow.
I'm here to put pressure.
I think the what I use the most. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's still the same as O. So I really don't really.
Okay. See, for me, since I haven't seen it, of course.
Well, okay.
The
You know what I
gestures
do?
would probably be for me, but you say you don't use them. So
You think you would like them, but you might because you've never used an iPhone 10.
right.
To me, using an iPhone 10 and then going to these gestures is a downgrade.
Right.
Because, and I think we talked about it before, the swipe up on Android as it stands now has two functions where you swipe all the way up to get to your app drawer on, or for this thing, it's like it's not a whole swipe.
It's a half a swipe, right?
Yeah, and it opens up your recents, but it's like, I guess it's, it makes it have like a delay to me. Like on an iPhone, when you swipe up, it knows you're going back home. That's it.
Obviously, it's intentional.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess that's why it's not as smooth, but just to me, it's not as smooth. So to me, that's what kind of keeps me from using that. I'd rather use the buttons until they fix that.
When I get around to getting a phone that gets Android P, I'll probably consider it an upgrade, more than likely.
Yeah, I mean, try to, from what I read, they say that it's not as good, the beta, on like the OnePlus. The phones that can get it that aren't the Pixel, they said there's, the beta's not as smooth.
Right.
That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't try it on the OnePlus.
Right.
And it's didn't change that much. Some of the stuff is nice. I like the battery life is mainly my thing. Oh, you know what else they did? They added a feature that I was like begging for Android. Markup. You're able to mark up now. Like if you take a screenshot, you're able to draw on the screenshot. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I used to.
That's an important feature, and a lot of people like that. I know.
Yeah, they finally added that.
Cool.
They added a lot of like little odds and ends. I think like a different way to highlight. Like I think it has a magnifying glass now. I think that's been on iOS forever, but they added that. They added a lot of small things that they should have been had, but it's good they got them now. They did do some extra stuff with the notifications. I forget. I think like now
before we go further, let me recognize that Six Luis. Of course, he was first. We know you're always first, Six Luis, and Serrano Button is in the room. So right now they're the two that have typed something in, and welcome as always, guys. You guys are very faithful. And Six Luis is saying the gestures on P don't look as smooth like on the iPhone, but the final product might fix all that. So he's agreeing with you, basically.
Yeah, they're very smooth on the iPhone, George. Very, very smooth. On Android, you can tell that it's, I guess, not that they threw it in, but it's like kind of like an afterthought. You know what I mean?
Like, but usually when they have the final release, things do get smoother in general, right?
Yeah, but I just can't see how they're gonna smooth it out, being that it has two. I mean, on iPhone, it sort of has two functions too, because swipe up can be to go to your recents, and it can be to go home. Like you can close an app with it. But I guess since it's I forget the word that you would use. It's situational. Like if you're in an app, and you swipe up, it closes the app. Let me see. I'm trying to do it now. If you're in an app and you swipe up, it'll come on, Siri. It'll close the app, or
he said, "Oh, come on, Siri."
Yeah,
so Siri, it's not perfect.
No, Siri's thinking I'm talking to it. It's like I don't know what that means. I don't even say "Hey Siri." But yeah, if you swipe up, you can either close the app or go home. But I guess it's just dependent on if you have an app open. I don't know. It's just so smooth on the iPhone. I wish I could show you how it's so smooth when you swipe up. Okay. On Android, it's not as smooth. And then you know what it is on iPhone, when you swipe up, it's like you swipe up with a little pause and it goes to your recents. It's still to me smoother than Android's.
Okay.
And then the navigation, but they added you can cut and paste, which is another dumb thing they did to me. They took it away from the standard Pixel, where they said it's like a 2XL or Pixel 2 feature. You're able to cut and paste. Like let's say you have the recents menu open, and I've used this before. Let's say you have the recents menu open to an article. You can cut and paste from that article from your recents menu, and then go over and paste it into your document.
That's right. I did see that. Yeah.
But they made it like a Pixel 2 XL thing where there's nothing in the hardware that's stopping that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just something where they were, I guess, I don't know, trying to give it an exclusive thing. It's dumb to me. That
So
was
no other phone can do that but the Pixel 2 XL.
Yeah, I guess that it's on the beta, yeah, because a lot of people complained they were putting it in the Google issues, you know, the thing where you can submit your issues,
Right,
and they said that this is like an expected action. I think that's how they called it, where it's supposed to behave like that.
Right. Let me recognize Alan is in the room. My phone tech.
Oh, George, is your super chat on?
I don't know. Oh, you can see it here, can I? I don't think so.
Uh-oh, George, turn that super chat on.
I don't know how to turn it on.
You have it on sometimes.
Sometimes two times it came on by itself. I didn't do anything to turn it on. But I do not see it.
Let me see. I got a question for you, George. Yeah, it's on. It's on, George.
Okay, thank you.
On. Yep, super chat is on. But yeah, do you have the dark mode on YouTube on Android yet?
I turned it on yesterday and I love it.
Okay, yeah, right. It's been on iOS for a while, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, when was it available on YouTube? Because yesterday was the first time I noticed it.
I think they just started rolling it out for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I turned it on yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's a whole lot better. You know.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm going to the dark side because I'm not.
Come on over, George. Come on over. I broke it back out after I saw Munchie's post.
Okay.
Munchie was posting. He got a video on YouTube. Everybody check out Munchie's channel. He's talking about the 5 reasons he thinks that.
I saw it. I just didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Yeah. He did that today, right? Now I was at work all day.
It was like 2 days ago, maybe. I think it was yesterday it came out.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a pretty good video. I said, yeah, he's telling the truth though. Some of them points are hard to dispute. But
that's good. Yeah. That's good. Now when you make one, it's going to be something as the expert.
If I make one, it's going to be bad. I'm still working on this essential video. This video is killing me.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it as good as I can, you know. Trying to get some photos in there, some videos in there. But I don't know if I'm gonna get in front of the thing or not. The essential's kind of been beaten into the ground. Everybody's done an essential video, so there's not really much more to say.
You haven't.
But I'll just give my opinion of the phone.
And we're all excited for yours. And anybody who watches us knows that you know what you're talking about and you tell the truth whether people like it or not. So that's good.
Yeah, you know. But
all right, going on to the next thing that I put up was that who put this in? Mike gave us this afternoon. Oh yeah. France is now banning students to have their phones on them at all in school. And it's a post on the Next Web. France passes a new law banning smartphones in schools. And I gather they've already had a law from 2010 which prevented students from using their smartphones during teaching hours, but they could carry their smartphone in their bag with it switched off. Well, the enhanced law says when you walk into school, you give up your phone to a teacher and you get it back when you leave school, and you cannot have it even during lunch and breaks.
Well, what happened? I didn't even read the article. What happened?
Well, it says this is there has been worry surrounding the amount of time children spend on their phones worldwide, but France is one of the first countries to crack down on smartphone usage among young people, and the ages 3 to 15. So from 3 all the way to 15, you cannot carry your phone in school. Now, people are saying, how are they going to enforce this if they turn off their phones and put them in their bag? And that's probably true.
Well, but you know what? That's what they want. They just want them to have the phone off. I can't get mad at that, though, because it's just like what, you know, even even though they don't want to admit it, they're only the device people, Apple and Android. They're only putting those features that'll monitor your usage in there because of things like this, because of complaints.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, So I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, if we had that here, maybe people pay more attention in class.
So there's one thing that's in this article. This has caused logistical fears from those against the law, since 90% of the children in France own a phone. I wouldn't think it's that high here.
Yeah, I don't know, George. I've seen some young people with phones.
90% is a lot of kids with phones.
It is. But you never know. I guess they talking about anything. So you never know. People here, a lot of kids got phones, even if they got basic, pretty basic Androids or. A lot of parents now buy their kids phones. That's as crazy as the world is, even when they're just so they can have it when they go to their friends, even if it's a prepaid or,
Yeah, and I do see people actually thinking about getting phones for kids at 4, 5.
Yeah, right? So, it's crazy.
So maybe we hit 90% too. Who knows? But anyway, they're trying to combat it. Now, if I had to bet on government versus kids, I'd probably bet on the kids, and they'll probably come up with ways around this.
Yeah.
But how they're going to enforce it? Well, I guess like you say, as long as they turn them off and they're not using them in school. Now, what strikes me though is they're not even allowed to use them during lunch and break time. So some kids are going to get caught doing that.
But you know what? I don't know. When I was in high school, I guess lunch has gotten different. Because when I was in high school, lunch was in the cafeteria.
Right.
When I drive by like high schools now, I see people at lunch. They're like eating outside. They're going at, leaving the high school.
Well, that's what we used to do when I was a kid. Now, of course, this is back in the 60s and 50s for me. But yeah, when I was a kid, lunchtime came, you were free to go where you want and go eat where you want. But
yeah, they like leave now, and I'm like, wow. When I was in high school, you had to be in the cafeteria for lunch, and that was.
Well, I think the whole cafeteria thing started probably in the late '60s, and I graduated from high school in '62. So most schools didn't have cafeterias in late '50s and early '60s, so you were kind of on your own, and most parents gave you lunch to take with you, but yeah, you took it outside, you ate on the steps, you ate in the park or wherever, and as long as you were back in time for class, then everything was good. So you and I were raised very differently school-wise in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know. I see kids leaving. I'm like, wow, if they would have let the kids of mine, when I was in school, they would have let us leave, people wouldn't have been coming back.
Okay. Now, Gary Brown mentioned 12 is a good age to get kids a phone.
Now, I could see getting kids a phone at 12 and just monitoring it, because you're still able to monitor your kids. You know what I mean? And they're a little more responsible. You can tell them.
How old is your oldest kid?
Well, my kids are 7.
Okay, see,
they ain't got no phone.
In my mind, I'm thinking I'd probably get my kid a phone at about 8 or 9, and give it to him and take it away at night. And then 12, I would agree with. From then on, you give the kid the phone and monitor what's going on. But I'm thinking I would go younger, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
And Gary Brown is also saying he left school at lunch, and he went to school in the 90s. So I guess that's late. Now, you were in school, what, in the 80s, Will?
Oh, me? No, I graduated in 2002. So I was in school like him in the 90s. In the 90s, but I don't know.
And you were in the 90s, but you
maybe it's just a Jersey. Maybe it's just a Jersey thing. I don't know. We weren't able to leave. Yeah. We did have they did have co-op where you could leave and go to work, but you weren't able to leave at lunch. At lunch, and our school was overcrowded, and we still had to eat in the lunchroom. There was no leave if you left. Okay, you could do it technically because you weren't checking in at lunch.
Right, but I guess so you and Gary definitely had different experiences in the same time period. Now, Alan is talking about giving his son, he said, I gave my son a ZTE phone for emergencies during school. It's monitored with the app I use. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he said he's 9, his son. So that's about kind of what I would be doing for my kids if they were that age. So.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. I just thought this was an interesting story. Get rid of the story I've got up. I have to jump around to get to my different stories. Now, I thought this was interesting. Fortnite made.
Oh man, let me get on this, George.
Yeah. Fortnite for Android leak points to risky anti-Google Play plan, which I didn't even understand.
George, this is the most ridiculous thing I've seen. This whole situation is crazy. First, they're trying to make it like an exclusive to certain phones, where only certain phones are going to be able to run the game. Did you see that?
Right. It may be the Note 9 exclusive for the first month.
For the first month, but I can't even understand. I didn't read the article about the first phone, the certain phones. What was? Did you read that one? Because I don't understand what makes those phones special. Like, because the Pixel 2 XL isn't a new phone. It doesn't have nothing. You know what I mean? I don't understand why there's certain phones the only ones that are going to be able to run it. You would.
I've only browsed through the article, and I'm browsing through it now. Well, do you have it up?
No. Let me see. Okay. But the thing about this anti-Google thing, I don't know if you read the Android Central article. He was complaining, basically saying, "Don't buy the game because they're releasing it outside of the Play Store."
Right.
And he was saying a lot of safety concerns and things like that.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. But now the article it says that they're doing it because Google takes a 30%.
Yeah, Google takes money.
Right.
But the thing is, all right, it's kind of like, why can't they release the game outside of the Play Store? Because
they can, but keep in mind, Google can't vet.
No, George, a big company like this, you really think that Google is going to be vetting the game? Google just wants the money from it.
Yeah, but once it's outside the Play Store, I don't know. I think I gotta believe there's more likelihood to get a virus or something than not.
There's more likelihood that the game will get a virus if you download it from somewhere that's not the official site of the game.
Of theirs, yeah. Okay.
So just like people were saying in the comments, just like with a Windows PC, or you download most of your apps, you don't go to the Windows Store.
That's
you know what I mean? Most of you get them from outside. It's just Google's just trying to capitalize and get paid because they know this is supposed to be a big game.
Yeah, but generally, it's known that it's safer to get stuff from the Play Store than not the Play Store.
I don't agree, but I mean it's not though, because even a couple of weeks ago there was that article that like basically the Play Store had a whole bunch of apps that were still pushing malware and stuff like that were in the Play Store. So Google's just trying to get money, and his article saying don't buy the game is just dumb. Like, if you know you're buying the game from, I forget, was it Epic or something? I forget who makes the game. Yes. But if you know you're going to Epic's website to buy the game, most people are smart enough to know I'm going to Epic's website. I'm not going to go get it from downloadgames.com. You know what I mean? Yeah. Most people know they're going to. That's just it. To me, that was a crazy article to write. Basically,
I don't know that most people know that though.
Unless Google, but most gamers, they know. Unless Google like paid them to write that article.
But Fortnite is so popular, it's going to be more than gamers. There's going to be a lot of people who aren't traditionally gamers playing Fortnite.
You know? And then just like they said, Fortnite is like, I think, what is it, China or somewhere? Some places don't even have the Play Store, so those people wouldn't even be able to access the game.
That's true. They have to go somewhere else to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's better for them to put it. That's Forbes said Fortnite for the win. Yeah, like it's better for them to put it outside the Play Store. I just didn't agree with the article. I mean, I don't know. I probably won't be downloading it anyway because I can't see it being as smooth as the iPhones just because of all the different handsets. I guess maybe that's why they're limiting it. But
they don't want to pay the price too. They don't want Google taking their cut. Oh,
I mean, why they're putting it only on certain phones.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because I think maybe they're trying to keep the experience, try to make it as smooth as they can. But
it could be, Pixel is going to be certainly smoother than most.
Yeah. We got another thing to talk about too, George. But keep going. Speaking
Rob
of Pixar.
Rob from RP3 Tech Reviews is in here, and he said, going back to the lunchroom, he said depends on what type of settings in your school is in. We had an outside sitting area and inside. More city schools, they kept you inside, keep you inside.
Yeah, my school was in the suburbs, and they kept us in.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
My school was, I guess, more city area because even though I'm in Jersey, I mean, we were about a half a mile from Manhattan across the river, so pretty city.
Yeah. And I went to high school. I graduated, I think, the year after the whole shooting and all that started being like a regular thing. Like, I remember when they did the Columbine shooting, I was maybe a sophomore or freshman. I remember seeing that on the news. It was like a movie. But after that, they really locked down the schools. You know what I mean? So,
when the school shootings and stuff started, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, that just didn't happen. I guess we were too busy beating the crap out of each other anyway. So,
George, Phone Tech is asking if you went to North Bergen.
No, I went to Memorial in West New York, New Jersey. My wife went to North Bergen.
Ah, okay.
And at the time, when I graduated all the way, I think through the 80s, West New York Memorial High School in West New York, New Jersey was considered one of the smartest schools in the state. And we looked down on kids from North Bergen. But North Bergen probably had more money than West New York. But their kids, now this is going back in the 80s, and I used to be a 7-day-a-week tennis player, all spring, summer, fall. So I was up at the tennis courts during the 80s a lot, with a lot of high school kids from North Bergen. And a lot of them were known for doing a lot of drugs back in the 80s. So that's one thing that held them back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was in Hudson County, just like you, Alan. All right. Next up. Oh yeah, Huawei passes Apple in smartphone sales, which people seem to be surprised by that. Where the heck do I have them? Did you get a chance to look at any of these articles?
The couple that I submitted, I did hear about that one with Huawei. Huawei's the number 2, right?
Yeah, they passed Apple and they're behind Samsung.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about Samsung in America because these last couple of releases ain't been doing too good. And they even said it there.
Go ahead.
And they even said it their was it their financial thing or something? Their expectations for this coming year, I guess this next quarter, aren't going to be too good either. So I don't think they're banking too high on the Note 9 because I think they said they cited stiff competition, like the phones are getting better. And
well, plus the Note 9 has already been getting a lot of ho-hum from a lot of YouTubers and big reviewers.
Yeah, that Note 9 isn't going to be nothing great.
And everybody's expecting that, they're holding off and, be extremely incremental because the big 10 is coming up. So
you think so though? I don't think that's the. I just think Samsung is at a point where they don't want to go to a notch. I don't think they're going to be able to go as bezel-less as Apple did with the 10 without a notch. And they're trying to stay away from the notch. They're trying to keep the headphone jack. So I think, and I guess they want to keep this stupid curved screen because I don't like that either.
That curve really gets in the way to me.
I don't like it. You don't mind it?
No, I don't like it.
Oh yeah, I just don't like it for
me and my wife too. Now it's her phone. We're always touching stuff we don't mean to touch.
Yeah. I just don't like it for the practicality of just protecting the screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just think they're at a point where they're kind of out of ideas, and their next thing that they're trying to bank on is going to be some kind of foldable display. But I don't think nobody's going for that.
Yeah, well,
I just think they're they're out of ideas, and people are hoping. I think like we're hopeful that the 10 is going to be a change, but I can't see them changing too much. Even their software to me is like they got better from where they were with the 4 and the 5 and the 6, definitely. But I don't like their software. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I prefer different software. I don't like the Bixby button. They're kind of, to me, they're just out of ideas with, you know what I mean, what they can come up with right now. And I don't think they're holding off or nothing. I just think they don't have nothing.
No, Alan's asking me one more personal. No, Alan, I was born and raised in West New York, New Jersey. So, now back to the article. Huawei sold around 54 million phones last quarter, up more than 40% from the same period last year. That's pretty impressive growth.
Yeah.
And Samsung sold more than 70 million phones last quarter, but they were down 10% from the same period last year. So you might have some, you might be justified in your worries for them.
Yeah. Well, you know, with Android now, there's so many. Even if you're not buying a Huawei phone, there's so many budget phones. There's OnePlus. OnePlus is doing ridiculous in India. There's so many budget phones and cheaper phones.
I'm waiting for my Xiaomi Mi A2 to show up because that should be on its way, but it's coming from China.
Yeah, there's just so many budget phones, and the phones are lasting. Well, you know, people are realizing that they don't have to buy a phone every year.
And the budget phones keep getting better and better, and the cameras keep getting better and better. You know?
Yeah, but like I know a lot of people who are still using the S7 Edge. You know what I mean? Who have no problem with it, and they're like, "Why would I switch?" When they all do the same thing.
Even Jay Will seems to say the S7 Edge was, you know, his favorite phone. Period. You know.
Yeah. That was a sweet phone. Yeah.
So, okay, and then you mentioned foldable phones. Well, that was the other story that I had suggested, and that's where did I put that story? Okay. It's coming up, folks. I'm older. It takes longer.
I'm looking at the comment here from RP3. He just said, you know, Samsung and Huawei sell a lot of low price phones. That's why it's easy for them to beat the iPhone. Yeah, that's true. And Samsung, the iPhone doesn't have. They never really made a. Well, the SE I guess did pretty good, but they never really made like a low price budget.
Plus, they don't make 7 or 8 different phones. Samsung always does, and Huawei puts out more than that.
Yeah, I really wish the Android OEMs would adopt Apple's thing of don't release 2 and 3 phones every year.
2 and 3, you'd be lucky to cut Huawei down to 2 and 3.
Yeah. Even, you know, like I don't know. I guess what I mean is just support the phone longer. You know what I mean?
But I think that's part of the whole Chinese phone maker thing, because Huawei, Xiaomi, these people make maybe 12, 15 phones a year, you know, at all different levels. So Sony makes what, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So
I always go back to LG. I had hopes for them when they said, yeah, we're not just going to release the phone just because, and then they went ahead and released the phone anyway.
But a lot of people love that G7. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good phone, but I mean, the G6 was what, you know, how many months before or whatever. Like, just support the phone you got, work on that one, fix the bugs, so that people want to come back to your phone. Like, you're giving 2-year warranties, but you're releasing a phone, you know what I mean, the following year with like the smallest upgrade.
Right. Oh, Serrano, you had asked PUBG or Fortnite. Serrano says he plays mobile PUBG, and then he's asking me, is Fortnite out yet for mobile? I guess he means Android, because
it's not out on Android yet. I think it's coming out with the Note, and it's only going to be on the Note for the first month, and then there's like a list of phones that are going to be able to play it for Android, which
No,
is
it's
crazy.
based on what you had just said. Gary Brown is saying Android has too many OEMs. We need some more OSs. Well, let's face it, Android and Apple have eliminated the other OSs. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, only eliminated them or they failed. Either way, they're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And George, just like we said a couple weeks ago, Google's suffering for it in in the EU, right?
Well, yeah, but that's not. That's just politicians being politicians. You know, you can say what you want about all these people with their antitrust laws. It's just politicians are going to go in somebody's pocket. Who's got the most money? Let's get in their pocket. That's here. That's in Europe. That's politicians. But I have no respect for politicians anywhere, so don't go by me. Anyway, talking about foldable phones. Xiaomi tipped to join foldable phone race, but can we expect a cheap device? Now, the other story said that both Xiaomi and Oppo are reportedly working on foldable phones. So, is somebody going to beat Samsung to the market with a real foldable phone? Not the hinges like ZTE did, but a real foldable phone.
Yeah, but okay, like Jerry said, there's not going to be a foldable. I just can't see it either because the components in the phone can't fold. So it's going to have a hinge.
Well, but the whole premise from all the way back to the round, to the LG round, hasn't it been somehow they got to make those parts technology-wise fold, right? Isn't that what they're after?
I just can't see it, George. I really can't. And I never even thought about it that way until he said it.
Yeah.
But I can't see the parts in the phone bending. I can see them separating the battery and then having a hinge, and the rest of it is all in another part of the phone, and the hinge bends. But I can't see just, you know what I mean?
Well, it seems to me, keep in mind that, parts are tiny, really, chips are really tiny. Seems to me you could probably put a hinge inside the phone and still make it bendable. I'm saying a few pieces would have to have a hinge, but the rest of the parts could actually bend from the outside. It could be a straight bendable phone because you wouldn't even know the hinges in there unless they told you, is my guess. I'm thinking that might be doable. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't know. If anybody could do it, it's going to be Samsung, but I just think they have the screen. The screen is what they're going to, the screen will bend. I just can't see the phone.
See, wow. I don't see Samsung as anymore being the one to expect to be first with the most. I think here they mentioned Huawei, Samsung, Oppo, and Xiaomi. I think they might have just as much of a chance to come up with it ahead of Samsung or vice versa. You still see Samsung as leading the charge here?
No, because lately Samsung hasn't really been first. You know what I mean? They've been more, the other companies will put it out, and then Samsung is trying to be kind of like Apple and do it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, at least for Android.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at Oppo with the sliding out camera. Who expected that?
Yeah, I know.
So who knows who's going to do it first, but
it's all going to be who does it better and who's got better advertising, who's going to make people get up and go buy it for the general public anyway. People like us will be reading about everybody else doing it, and when it comes out, when Samsung does it or whoever, everybody's going to run and go crazy.
And that's when it's going to become popular. Samsung and Apple have to do it for the general public to even be aware of it.
Oh, George.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
In the article, it says hinges and foldable displays are just two of the key parts in this arena. So we expect Oppo and Xiaomi to be chasing up these components, among others. Yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on who can get the components first. Now, you would think Samsung, because of the money But you know that Huawei and Xiaomi and Oppo, they've got lots of connections over there. So who knows that they couldn't beat Samsung to the market with, because they've got the parts first.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Going back to the story, you're talking about the EU for a second. You see, RP3's commenting there, just what we were saying a while ago, Android. And I think I had told you that's what I think they're going to do. They're going to leave Android and go to Fuchsia, and leave Android and lock down Fuchsia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, both you and Rob may be right. I mean,
they're going to get more. They're going to make more Apple-like.
Yeah.
They're going to make it more Apple-like. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally, Rob. And Will has been saying this for a few weeks now. So. Yes, Serrano says Oppo looks nice, and that's true. But I think everybody's waiting to see just how well the Oppo phone holds up with that in and out camera.
Yeah. What did you think, George? Have you seen that video of MKBHD saying that he kind of doesn't prefer the OnePlus, but he's been using that more than his Pixel?
Well,
a lot of people, he got a lot of hate for that.
About it. I haven't seen. I just haven't had time to watch everything. But yes, I heard plenty that he prefers it. And somebody said he couldn't even say why, but he just prefers carrying that as his daily driver, right?
He pretty much said that it was because I can't remember if it was him. I think he said the feel in the hand, but I think he also said that it's faster. Like the Pixel isn't the fastest Android phone.
Okay.
Cameras, he was like, he would go back to the Pixel for the camera. I think that's right.
Right.
But for software, for the customization, he preferred the OnePlus. So he was using that more than the Pixel. And he said that his Pixel had been laggy. He got a lot of hate.
Oh, really?
He got a lot of hate
for that.
Yeah, so a lot of people were like, OnePlus must have sponsored the video,
But see, this is where I believe people want to have it both ways. On the one hand, they want to beat up on him because he says the Pixel's laggy. But on the other hand, if he says too many nice things about the Pixel, oh, well, then you're sold out to Google. You can't win.
They want him to be honest.
And he is being honest when he's saying it's laggy, and they don't like it.
They want him to be honest, but they want him to like what they want him to like too.
Exactly. And this is what Jay Williams has said in many, many, many videos. People get so hung up about what they like that they're going to hate anybody who disagrees with them or says something bad about the phone. I mean, didn't a bunch of YouTubers go through this stuff with Samsung Nights? Because they wouldn't accept anybody saying anything bad about Samsung. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I think you know what else it is. If you watch, let's say you go to MKBHD's channel or you go to Jay Will's channel,
right,
and they'll tell you like MKBHD, he'll tell you the Pixel is the best camera you can get. You're gonna get your updates first. You're gonna blah blah blah, and then you're like, all right, good. I hear what he's saying. I'm gonna go with that. Okay. And then to hear him come out and be like, this phone isn't the best, and a $500 phone is.
But where has he contradicting himself?
No, listen.
On the one hand,
I know he's not. He's not.
Camera, and then when he tells you he likes the other phone, he's still telling you the Pixel camera is better, right?
He's not contradicting himself. But what he's saying is, it's like he's saying both phones are good, but initially, because the Pixel 2 came out first, so you're already, if you're like a buyer, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm getting that.
You've already invested, yeah.
And then he comes out later and he's like, well, this $500 phone is actually, I'm using this more. You know what I mean? In all his videos, he'll be like, I carry a Pixel. The OnePlus comes out and it's like he switched sides on you.
So you think people blame him for that? I mean, he's in control of that. OnePlus came out later.
I think people are like, you're a traitor now because
That's ridiculous.
I spent $650 or $950 on this phone, and now you're
you know
going
what my
the other
answer
way.
to that would be?
Because
And
look,
did I tell you to spend that money
listen,
on the phone, or
listen,
did I just tell you about the phone?
George, just like if you come out with a review and bash a phone that somebody else likes, they want you to validate, you know what I mean, to make them feel good about their purchase. Exactly. So now he's killing most people who are shallow enough to be like, the Pixel's the best phone ever. He's killing them now. You know what I mean? If you bought that phone on his recommendation, and then he's like, well, this $500 phone is just as good.
But I go back to what Jay Will always says. Why put your ego into a phone? Because that's all that is. Yeah. It's like, you don't have to be right about it. You're a human being. Your name isn't G-O-D. You know?
Well, the thing is, all the phones, they all do the same thing. Unless you're nobody's, well, I don't know. I don't know anybody who's posting a picture and then printing it out, and you know what I mean? So the difference in the camera and all that is you can see it if you're really looking, but if you're just posting to social media, posting on Hangouts or posting on Google Plus, you're not going to notice. It's just that, everybody wants to be superior. They want theirs to be the number one, whatever it is.
This is where I'm different.
So
I don't need to be superior to anybody. I don't want to be superior to everybody. The days when I had to be right are long since gone. And since I've left that behind, well, I learn a lot more from people, and I'm grateful that I learned it.
Yeah.
That's just like a weirdo though. So.
But it's just like an iPhone person. You can tell an iPhone person all day that the Pixel has a better camera, the Pixel has customization, they don't care. You know what I mean? Because the iPhone has a smoother experience or whatever they'll say, and that's all they want to hear. You know what I mean?
And but you see, I can't argue with them on that because
I know, but it's the same thing he's saying. He's saying the Pixel camera is better, but the OnePlus has a smoother experience, and
it came out later, so it should have a smoother experience. But when I was working on Wednesdays, I see a lot of enterprise customers, and I talk to them. And that kind of thing came up. And when I said to a couple of people, well, there are now better cameras than the iPhone camera, because when I got mine, it was by far the best camera. And they didn't have a problem with that. They still like their iPhone. And I agree with that. That's what you like. That's what you like. So I don't find anybody objecting to me saying that other phones have better cameras at all. Nobody seemed to be upset by it or took any umbrage at it,
Yeah. Well, it's just something something for people to complain about.
But we do live in a country where people are so intent on I have to be right. Well, no, you don't. You're a human being.
I don't even
trust me. Human beings do best is be wrong.
That's you know what? He just hit the nail on the head right there. And that was the other thing. Gary Brown said, "Does the RAM make a difference?" That was one of the other things. I think he said that the RAM is making a difference now. I think he said it.
And that would make sense because I've heard many people in YouTube say how smooth the OnePlus 6 is.
But George, not even the 6, because I guess maybe even the 5T probably, because you can get a phone with 6 gigs where Android is coming with 4. And even if you're on like Twitter, a lot of people are like, if the leaks on the Pixel are true and it's coming with 4 gigs of RAM again, it's going to be a disappointment because, you know what I mean? Because it's not going to hold as many apps in memory, and it's going to be,
my 5T has 4 gigs, and I found it to be smooth as silk.
Your 5T? You sure? Your 5T might have 8. I think the 5T was 6 and 8, wasn't it?
6. No, you're right, 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That was one of his things. He was saying that the RAM, I guess, was making it a smoother phone, and you figure you spend $950 on the Pixel and you got 4 gigs, and you spend $529 on your OnePlus 6, and you got 6 gigs.
If you give me a choice between 4 gig and 6 gig, I'm probably going to take the 4 gig because it's going to be cheaper, and I'm probably not going to use the phone more than 2 months continuously. But that's not the average person.
Yeah, the RAM, it's just OnePlus isn't as known, and the people who I guess who are mad at his videos didn't research enough or something, or just bought their Pixel just to blindly support Google. You know what I mean? I know when I get the Pixel, I'm not going to have the most RAM or none of that. I'm just going to have a good camera. That's what I go to the Pixel for. But even the more I see these leaks, I'm kind of like, I might hold off on the Pixel simply because
saying that.
No, George, listen to me. George, listen. That notch is so deep. The notch is deep. Okay. If they're still coming with 4 gigs of RAM, the software, we already know what it's going to be. Right. If they're not putting a wide angle camera or something like that, the camera's going to be good, but
all right, I'll play devil's advocate.
They will have to make it amazing to make me.
All the negatives you say are true, but they still come out with a better camera than anybody else. You're not going to buy it?
Yeah, but the camera's going to have to be like, they'll have to be able to show me side by side where I'm not having to zoom in to see differences in the camera. I'm going to have to really be able to be, that's what I'm saying. If they came with like a wide angle where I can see the difference without having to do anything, then I'll be
wide angle would really put it over the top. That's for sure.
But if it's just going to be the Android P, like I got on my Pixel 2 with a different screen, or for $1,000,
you will have on your OnePlus too.
Yeah, for $1,000, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, when I say people, I'm not gonna get it. Well, yeah, everybody knows I'm not spending no $1,000 for a phone. Period. You know, but you see one thing I like about you, and I like about you. You have always liked your Pixel, but you tell the truth about it, and that's good. You know.
Yeah, but I like the phone, but even the iPhone 10, this phone is, the camera's not that great. But the reasons that I like the phone, like I knew when I bought the phone, the camera wasn't going to be the best camera, but the camera's good enough. You know what I mean? The camera's good enough. Exactly. Your videos that you can get out of the phone are crazy because you have 4K at 60 with no limit.
You know what I mean? You know you're not going to get a bad camera in an iPhone.
That's the camera's not going to be bad. Exactly. You're going to get updates. Like when they come out with the new iPhone, you don't have to update to it. You're going to get your updates for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're not missing nothing.
You ever made for Apple.
Yeah, but I wish Android would do that. You know,
Gary Brown says he got his Pixel for the camera and the updates, which makes perfect sense.
Even now with the Pixel, the way look at Essential, look at OnePlus, the update thing isn't even looking as good now because
I agree with you about OnePlus. I can't agree with you about Essential because I'm thinking Essential is doing all these updates because they have to.
No. George, Essential is going to, unless I guess something happens, they're going to be on P. They're on the beta.
Yes,
but what I mean is, the update from O to P wasn't that big for me to be like, if I didn't have the Pixel, I'm really missing something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like the update argument isn't even that. To me, it's not even that strong now where I buy the Pixel for the update. I more want the camera.
Okay, exactly. And Serrano makes a good point. He said the reason is why you should purchase a phone should be for your personal preferences. I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's like I want the phone for the camera. That's why, even though I got the OnePlus, it's hard to, the phone is smooth and all that, but it's basically a Pixel without as good of a camera, no waterproofing, and no,
And but see, this is why to me, I have 2 Android One phones and one on the way. The cameras are going to be better on the expensive phone, but they keep getting better, and I get the updates.
Yeah.
For a third of the price or less. Yeah. That's one thing I do like. And I told you before, I've already seen videos comparing the Xiaomi Mi A2 cameras to OnePlus and Pixel and Samsung, and some of them awfully close. So it sounds like Xiaomi has done a great job in improving their cameras on that cheap phone. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, we are out of stories already.
What did you think? Did you see Mike's stream? What did you think of them saying
Yeah,
putting that alarm clock, Spotify, making that a Spotify thing instead of a Google Music thing. I don't even have that update yet, actually. Unless I just don't know how to use it.
Well, remind me what it's for, because I watched the whole thing, but I was exercising, of course, while I was watching.
You can wake up to your Spotify playlist, and he was like, "Why wouldn't they put that on Google Music?" And that's like, to me, that's like a fail on Google's part, because why wouldn't you push your own?
But keep in mind, there's two sides of Google Music. There's paid and not paid. I'm on the not paid side. I wouldn't expect that.
No, but even if you have a not paid Google Music, you should be able to say you wanted to wake up with whatever radio station, even though you're not paying. You know what I mean? Google Music play R&B station or play jazz, or you know what I mean, in 6 a.m. and wake me up.
Well, for me, I would pick a specific tune because I have more than 800 tunes up there. So
you know what I mean? It's like Google's kind of, I don't know why they wouldn't put that out for their own service. It's kind of crazy. And that's what I was saying. To me, the device limit thing is crazy because I switch phones a lot.
The device limit thing nails me all the time. And sometimes, you know, once you get past 4 deletions, then they make you wait.
You can't. Yeah. No, you know, if you call them, it's a pain though. You got to call them. That's why I'm thinking I might as well just switch to Apple Music. It's just that their app is so bad on Android that, you know.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, they only added that limit, what, 3 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah, but okay, this is what I don't understand. I can understand the 10 devices maximum, right?
Right.
But why are they limiting the amount that you can delete?
I know, that seems silly to me, too.
That's dumb. It's like they're doing it backwards. Limit the amount that I can have. Don't limit what I can take. Don't limit what I can take off.
Because I've had all kinds of problems, you know, deleting and stuff. And did I call them?
Yeah, because you have a lot of phones.
But I found ways to get around it.
Well, yeah, if you call them, they'll be like, we'll give you a courtesy and remove them all, and then you got to start from scratch, which is nice. But
if they have a record that you call them, let's say, twice in the same year, I don't care.
I don't care. No, listen, if they ever tell me they're not helping me, I'll just cancel the thing. I'll be like, all right, I'm canceling them because it's to me, that's a dumb decision.
I agree.
Having more than 10, I could see being mad, but not letting me delete what I want because, you know, if you switch phones a lot, that's going to make you think like, all right, I'm not going to give them my $10 but the only reason I keep it is because of the YouTube, you know, the YouTube ads and all that. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you know, they're crazy with that device limit thing.
Yeah, I agree. You almost make me want to go do some researching about why they came up with the deactivation limit, but
it doesn't make sense. It's like I can't think of no reason for the limit. Yeah. Gary Brown was saying the security patch is good every month too. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wonder about that too because when did they start these security patches every month? When did that start?
I'm thinking maybe a year ago. It seems to me.
Because when did we? I don't know. It's like, all right, before we knew about it, like, okay, I can remember when I had iPhone before. iPhone releases an update when something major happens, or, you know, every couple months you might get an update. It'd be like bug fixes or whatever.
Right.
Before they did the security patches every month, was anybody even thinking about it? You know what I mean? It's like Google's pushing it now as a selling point, kind of.
You know, Jerry was from Android Central. He's always thinking about it.
Yeah, he was. But I mean, for them to release one every month, I don't know. I think it's kind of like now it's become like just a selling point. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good thing though, because I mean, let's face it, a company like Google is always going to be fixing something. So at least, even if it's a selling point, you'll always be getting something that wasn't there before to catch security, you know.
But just like I was watching, I think it was Munchie's video. I think it was his video. Somebody has a video where they were saying Google does the security patches every month, but they also, when they push a security patch out, it's like they break something. You know what I mean? Like they'll release a security patch and something else will break. So it's
she swears they messed up her which phone? The one before her last phone. Oh, it
Yeah,
was
I
the
remember you was.
yeah, it was the
Wasn't the
Pixel.
S9?
No, it
It
was
was
the
the
original
Pixel.
Pixel.
The Pixel one. Yeah, the Pixel. Yeah, because you said
Before
she
they
stopped
messed
using
up
it.
her phone with a security update, and
Yeah.
that's why we decided to trade it in.
The thing that makes me mad is like the security patches are good, but on Android, to me, they should, well, on the Pixel anyway, they should focus on the problems that they can't get rid of, like their Bluetooth. To me, the Bluetooth is terrible on the Pixel 2 XL. It was bad on the Pixel. They never fixed it. To
Bad in
me,
what way?
that thing disconnects and connects and disconnects and connects so many times. I hate
Right.
it.
You said that a few times.
I hate it, and they
I
never
never
fix
had
it.
that kind of problem. Not even with the original Pixel either. You know.
Oh, my original one was so bad. It wouldn't even. The original one, George, was so bad in my car. I could connect to any other phone, Samsung, iPhone, LG, worked fine.
That's
When
weird.
I connected the Pixel to the car, if somebody called me and I tried to hit answer, it would just keep ringing. It would just keep ringing.
That's weird.
It was so annoying. And I mean,
because I used the original Pixel at least 9 months or so before I gave it to Eleanor, and I used to take it bike riding with me all the time, and everything worked. You know, and I used Bluetooth the whole time, and never had a problem.
I hated the Bluetooth on that phone. Yeah, the second one is a little better, but the disconnects and connects is terrible, man. I have to forget my earphones or AirPods or whatever I'm using. I gotta forget and repair it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it looks like Samsung. This is really off topic, but anybody who got an S3, if you're on the beta, your Samsung Gear S3 is not gonna work because they killed it. You have to go all the way back to Oreo and install everything. Then you have to install everything. You know what I mean? And then you have to put your Samsung Pay. You have to put everything you want to put. Because once you go forward, you can't I'm laughing at Mike's comment. You can't get it to work. You know what I mean? Like, it won't work. I don't know if they're just doing that because the S4 is coming out. You would think they would have already fixed that so that it would work on Android P, but I guess.
And when did this problem start?
Ever since the beta. It's annoying. It's annoying. Like, I've stopped
because
using
everybody loved that watch.
I've stopped using the S3 with the Pixel because it won't work, and I usually use it for Android Pay. I mean, Samsung Pay, because Android Pay is kind of limited, but it's such a pain to roll back from the beta or go. You know what I mean?
We had to do that with the Axon 7 way back with the ZTE Axon 7, and that was a pain because then you had to go back and then come forward, and it was a real pain.
Yeah, I'm surprised Samsung hasn't fixed it.
Now, so everybody should know, Mike is in the chat. Don't listen to him. Will don't know what he's talking about. As soon as you get him off the broadcast, then he becomes another comment.
I'm telling you. Yeah. But
he's saying time for apple juice.
Time for the apple juice. That's right.
Mike, he's already said good things about the apple on this
podcast. Time for the apple juice, Mike. Time for the apple juice. I'm waiting for September when I get my official iOS 12.
Shouldn't Mike be upgrading his iPhone pretty soon now?
I think Mike is gonna get the new iPhone when it comes out.
Okay.
Yeah,
but he could go forward now, couldn't he?
He can jump to the Note if he wanted to, but I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to. I think he's waiting
for the new iPhone.
Even though George, as much as he complains that I was a green bubble when I went back to Android, now ask him who's a green bubble now, because he's a green bubble.
And he didn't stay on the apple juice long. He talked about it a lot.
Yeah, he talked about it, and he went right back to Android. Now he's switched over to OnePlus. He completely left the blue bubble.
And so have you.
I'm back on the iPhone now.
Yeah, but you also have the OnePlus.
Yeah. My OnePlus is giving me a little problem too. It's got a small white speck on the thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. I don't know. I think
I'm sure some bird didn't crap on it.
No. Nah, it's so It's so small, George. If you see it, it's really annoying. I took a picture and sent it to Mike. It's
I could
so
see why something like that would annoy you.
on like
Now,
the
see,
black
I was
screen.
going to say that I'm Mr. Consistent because I, don't go away. But then, of course, you could simply, well, you're just old. That's what old folks do. So I said, I better shut up.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's, So what do you think, George? We know you're not getting the Note.
Nope.
The Note 9. What else is coming? The
Oh,
Note 9, the Pixel, the iPhone. That's it, right? For the end of the year. That's the major.
Yeah, I'm this year, outside of buying my wife the S9, which she wanted, I've said I'm going to stick to under $600 phones. And luckily for me, this year there's been some good $200 to $400 phones, and I will get the 6T when it comes out, though.
You're going to get the 6T.
And I'll certainly be thinking about the V40. Probably won't get it, but I'll be thinking about it.
Yeah, my V30 experience wasn't good for me, man.
Yes, yeah, I love my V30, and so does
G7.
Oh, okay. Because I love my V30. I like my G6. I still have both, and I know Anthony Edwards of my Product 13. He loves his V30 too. So that's one of the phones.
I like the speaker and all that. I just
Now I have two phones. The V30 will do that front and back video at the same time, or camera. Yeah. Well, so will the Nokia 6 2018, and that's one reason I'll be keeping that too. I like, especially driving, that I can show traffic and myself at the same time. And those are the only two phones that I have that I can do that with.
Now wait, George, here I got a topic for you before we get off.
Yeah, Luis is saying, what about the 6T? No, Luis, I will be getting the 6T. I'll probably take a lot of heat at home for it, but I'll save up and get it.
The essential, George, the essential phone.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna be sending you this phone soon.
Okay. Now, Mike promised them up there. I forgot all about it. Mike has promised updates every time we go on. So this is good you brought that up.
Now, the essential phone is all right. What do you want me to base it on, George? You want me to base it on?
No. This has to be purely your opinion.
No,
your
listen.
I will get my own.
No, I mean, did you want me to review the phone saying I paid $500 for it, or do you want me to review the phone that's saying I paid $250 for it, or $800?
Just
because it depends.
No.
It depends. I know Jay Will came out with a video and was like, people are reviewing the phone based on the price, and he didn't think that was fair.
Way to debate it. I say what you really paid for it.
No, but listen, he's saying
if you don't think it's worth $800.
All right. For $800, the phone isn't worth it at all.
I agree. 100%.
Not for $800. For $500, the phone to me isn't even worth it. For $250 to maybe $300, I could see buying it, but it's still kind of hard.
You're still kind of where I am in that
to justify it.
Yeah, because saying 200 to 300, 250 to 300 to me sounds reasonable, and I have the same as you. I have that, but I haven't had the phone in my hand yet.
It's reasonable until you use the phone, and you realize that you can get a Moto G6, I believe it is, just came out for $250,
or a Moto G6 Plus.
Yeah. The phone, the software on the phone is fine. The software is stock Android, has about 15 apps on it. The Amazon Alexa and the camera app, I believe, are the only two things that are like different from stock. The notch, you can get used to it. It's not that bad. The camera is the camera isn't a $500 camera. It's not an $800 camera. It's almost not even a $250 camera, at sometimes. It gets bad to me. They did improve it, and I didn't install like the Google camera app or none of that.
Right.
I'm just using it as the phone came and as they updated it.
And that's what I plan to do.
The monochrome lens, I do like that. I like the monochrome because it's the black and white, and I usually don't put black and white filters, but using that lens, it makes you kind of, it looks better. I guess that might be just because I don't like the regular camera so much that I have the things in black and white on that phone. Right. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. Now, when you first got it, in the first few pictures you took, and I commented about the cloudiness with the artificial light, but the pictures in daylight look great to me. Yeah. Are you still finding that or not?
Yeah, the pictures outside are good. The more as I keep working on this video thing, this review or whatever, it's like, I don't know, I look at it and I'm like, I mean, of course the picture would have looked better on a Pixel or a Samsung or on the OnePlus, but I don't know. It's like the phone as a whole, I can't. If I would have bought the phone, when Mike gave me the phone, I was like, wow, I want this phone. The feel of the phone, the presentation of the box, all that, it's nice. But after using it, it's like I'm glad I didn't buy it even for $250 because I would be disappointed. Yeah. The touch of the screen is terrible. There's times where you're touching on the screen and it doesn't register it. You know what I mean? Really? That's what I've noticed anyway. Okay.
And this is very late in the manufacturing.
Yeah, I've seen review it. What did he say? Review it was essential. Gave you a okay. Now there's a person who paid it for full price. He's saying don't say it as if I paid too late. But yeah, like the screen isn't, the responsiveness of the screen to me isn't that great. The speaker isn't good to me. It's really low. And it's, it's a bottom fire and there's no headphone jack. The service, like the signal hasn't been as good as my other phones.
Really?
To me.
That's on AT&T, right?
And T-Mobile. I even tried it with T-Mobile. The service, like there's been times when I'm in my house and I'll have like no service. You know what I mean? Like the service
none at all.
Yeah, like it'll show nothing. I don't know if that's just the way Essential displays the bars. You know what I mean?
No, usually when you get no service, that means that's just not doing well, and that something's blocking it from your carrier at that spot.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm strictly T-Mobile. Now, when I sit right here, is the weakest service I have in this house, but I still have 2 bars on everything. I can walk 5 steps over to the other part of the room, and it jumps up to 6 to 7.
Yeah. Sometimes with the camera, I think I told you, I probably said it before, I'll take the picture and think that it got the picture, and I'll notice that it didn't get the picture, and like the screen will flash like it took the picture, but it didn't get it. It takes it in that second that I'm moving, even if I move just a little bit. So the picture.
And after you told us that the pictures you put up, you could see where you moved and where you waited.
Yeah, like you would. It's like you have to wait, But,
because the artificial light pictures came out a lot better once you realized that.
Yeah. It's like you gotta stay still longer. So yeah, you'll be able to see the ones that I like, the early ones, and then the more later ones.
Yeah, and that's something you definitely should talk about in your video.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, for $250. That's why I'm still kind of shocked that they're able to, or that they're so into the updates, because to put out a phone that was that bad at launch, I agree. And you're still updating it and you're promising all these updates, like,
and still making it incrementally better.
But the phone is like dead. Like they can't fix that. The laggy touch with the screen, they can't fix that. You know what I mean? Like
I agree.
There's no fixing that. The camera's only going to get so much better unless they just recommend everybody go download the Google Camera app. And I haven't used it to see how much better the photos are, but everybody says they make them better. But
everybody, and I've even seen on videos where you could see it was markedly better.
Yeah, so it's like,
But I'm with you. I'm just going to stick with the camera. But now initially I was going to compare it with the S9 and with the V30 and maybe the U11. But you've convinced me. I'm also going to compare it to the G6 Plus.
Compare it to whatever you got.
Yeah, and I'm going to compare it to budget phones and high-end phones.
See, you're good at that. So you'll be good with the camera.
It's going to take me a while. You know, Mike may be saying, "Where's my phone?"
Yeah, compare it with everything you got. But I mean, I'm glad I didn't buy it. It's disappointing.
Yeah, me too.
It's disappointing though, because the build of the phone is so good. Yeah. They built the phone really, you could tell that they really thought about putting the build into the phone, but the actual whatever they did, the components or whatever they put in that thing.
Now, when we're done with all this experimentation between the three of us, if Mike feels the same way you and I do, I feel like we should probably send him $75 each or something like that to try to split this up.
Split the cost of the phone. Yeah. Split the cost of the phone, right? Exactly. Mike needs a super chat.
Yeah.
$399 bundle they're offering now. I guess the phone must be, they're trying to drop the price down. Yeah, because they're still selling it.
All right, so they dropped it from $500 to $400.
They're crazy. It's like, are they not paying attention? Do they not see that the OnePlus 6 you can get it for $529?
Yeah, and what I think is that, keep in mind they started at $800 and now they've come down, and I think they're grudgingly lowering the price because they don't want to, but they keep hearing what they keep hearing.
They got it. They need to they should just really have the phone for free if you join with Sprint. They should just give you the phone for free because it's just something that you'll be able to use. You know what I mean? Like, I would buy the phone that's the type of phone I would give that to my kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if they dropped it, I would know it'd be able to take a little bit of a beating.
Yeah. I would probably outright buy that phone at $150.
Yeah, there you go. Like if and it's unlocked, so that part's good. But
exactly.
Yeah, the camera and all that, it hurts the phone. The build of it is so nice though. The build, they really the battery to me was good. The battery lasts.
Okay.
It's just the phone itself is just not.
Well, it's got two major issues: the screen and the camera. And you're right, the camera they've worked on and can work on. The screen is not a thing they can do about that.
Yeah, the touch of the screen it's irritating. Like, I thought it was like I moved the thing, tried to turn it landscape, trying to see. It's just
Mike is saying comes with that $399 bundle. Comes with the 360 cam, and he says he's looking forward to our videos. So you're up first.
You're looking forward to George's video because
you stop?
Mine is coming along, but I don't even know how I'm going to do it. Like,
just take your time. I am not in any hurry.
I have no idea.
I have a phone on the way, so.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't got all that equipment y'all got for them shots, the top down and all that, but I'll figure something out.
We all start at the same place. And what you said at the very beginning of tonight's episode, that you may not show your face, that's a typical pattern of all of us. The first few videos we do, we don't show our face. And then you start showing your face, and eventually you start showing your face more and more.
Well, it's just, I don't care about being in front of the camera. It's just that I'm trying to figure out how to present the video. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you come up with your own style. Everybody does,
Yeah.
Just it's what you always hear. I don't think you could be anything else because you're too you. That's a compliment, by the way, not an insult. Just thought I'd get that out there.
But yeah, man. Yeah, but it's But yeah, George. When I saw that Snapdragon, George, I almost passed out. I said, no, that can't be true.
In 11 years of really, it never even occurred to me that my street name is the same as the chip.
Oh my God! I was like, really? I said,
Doesn't that mean they should be sending me free phones?
That is crazy. That is so funny. Oh man, I saw that and I was like, he's got to be playing. I was waiting for like a follow-up email where you would be like, autocorrect messed up.
I guess I was meant to be a YouTuber.
I said, oh man, his Snapdragon. That is funny. Oh man,
that's how I got the beautiful view. You know,
something.
It was there to take pictures of, and that view was only from my front porch. You know.
Joby Pod. What's a Joby Pod? What's that?
It's
what is that? Tripod?
It's something like a Gorilla Pod, yeah.
Oh, I got one of those, Mike.
Yeah. Joby Pods, same kind of deal. I don't have one. I've got my one Gorilla Pod, and I've got a few others.
Creativity is a solo accomplishment. What?
Oh, Anthony's in here. My Project 13.
Yeah, his videos are good. I don't know what he uses.
Well, he's been doing it a while too.
Yeah,
he said creative is a solo accomplishment that is more intriguing and raw, and that, my friend, excites me. And that's one of the big draws to my Project 13. He's so real, and to use his word, raw. It's him, and you know it's him, and that's what people love about him. You know. Yeah. And I think that's why people tune in to our stream, because of you, because you're so freaking real. You know.
Man, I just, it's hard to spend your money on the phone. So once you spend your money, you got to tell the truth.
Exactly. Otherwise, you feel like a fool. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, I think we've about used up everything. What do you think?
Yeah, we don't got nothing else, right? There's no other articles. Nobody's got any topics.
You made it more interesting for the last half hour. You couldn't?
Let me see. Nobody's got. Let me see. Let me look real quick and make sure there's no new articles.
Okay.
Google Express, School Beta, Memory Locker. Oh, they have that out, George. That
what? What's
that thing called? The health thing that they were supposed to push out. Remember? Google had their own. They had their own system of trying to keep you off of the phone so long and all that.
Oh yes.
I don't know what's going on.
See, I guess because I'm me, I don't pay much attention to that. I
was just looking for it in the update.
Out of my hands, and all the guys that go out. If somebody did this week and said, "Oh, I was offline for 24 hours. I was offline for," you'll never get me offline. Yeah. And if I do get offline, I'm going to hate it until I get back online. So those stories don't mean anything to me because I love being connected and I don't want to be disconnected ever. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Do I think that's too much for kids? Yes, I do. But for me, I want to be connected 100% of the time, all the time, and I don't need anything to help me get off the phone.
One more thing, George, I got. Did you see? This was the other thing, and I had completely forgot about. Oh, well, there's two more. I had completely forgot about it. Remember when Moto was like they had a big announcement? We forgot about it because I don't remember ever talking about it. So their big announcement was the Moto.
Oh, the Moto Z3,
Moto
right?
Z. That was their big announcement.
Moto Z 5G. That's right. That was what, yesterday, wasn't it?
I don't know when they made it, but that was the big announcement. Was the 5G?
Yeah, on Verizon
connection thing that you can connect to it. That was the big thing.
Yeah, Gary Brown mentioned it here. Moto Z 5G on Verizon. That's right. I forgot all about it too. Again,
okay,
now you're in a price range. I'm not buying the phone, so it probably just went right out of my head. But yes, I've seen 4 or 5 stories on it already today. Just been working, haven't had a chance to read any of them.
So that was their big thing. I thought they were gonna, so that was it. All right, and then that was it. Oh well, you see, Google, they finally updated their measuring app where you're able now to measure vertical surfaces. That's what I was saying. On Apple's, you can measure like.
That's right.
Box.
You said that.
You know what I mean? Now I guess Google.
See, I never used that in the first place on the Pixel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you can just download it. I downloaded it just to compare it to Apple's and see what theirs was like. And Apple's was way better. Apple's was way better.
Yeah, you put a side by side
Apple's was
graphic up on a video and say juice, no juice.
Apple's was way better.
Much juicier as it was.
I'm sorry that it has to be that way, but Apple's measuring app was far superior, George.
Hey, and Google's Maps are far superior, so kind of all evens out in the end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but George, you got to remember, you can't get Apple's measuring app on Android. You can get Google Maps on your iPhone, and starting in September, you'll be able to use Google Maps on CarPlay.
Okay, that's cool.
So that right there is a big thing for me anyway. Because I know when I plug in the iPhone to the car, I hate using Apple Maps. So now that they're letting you switch to Google Maps, that was one of the big things at the announcement for me.
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
That was one of the big things, because Apple's pretty tight about letting other things be used. That they don't want you to use on there. I don't know if you ever use CarPlay. You probably never use CarPlay, but CarPlay is kind of limited. Like when you plug it in, you have your set of, I think it's 8 apps that you can choose from.
Okay.
Messaging, phone, maps, the audio, Apple Music, the books, and then anything else that you have installed. Like if you have Hangouts doesn't pop up on that thing. You know what I mean? You can't send a Hangouts message, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I think WhatsApp is on there, but there's only certain things. So them putting maps on there, letting you use that is like a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, and Gary Brown did say it was the Moto Z was today. Yeah. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it, man. There's not too much going on.
All right, Mike. We'll see you. Mike's cutting out.
Yeah, there's not too much going on.
I guess we're about done for tonight. And as usual, Will did his great job of filling out the show and making it interesting. Yeah. I'm the host, but he's the attraction, so that's how it goes.
Nah, George, I just make guest appearances on your show.
Well, you make very good guesses. Oh, that's
it's always difficult when it's only 2 of us, but we keep it up. We do good.
Thanks, Alan. Oh yeah, later on tonight I'll be on the.
Oh yeah, you're going to be on there, right?
I'm going to be on Team 100's 50.
What time are y'all going on? 10?
I guess 10. I'll have to wait till they send me a link.
There we go. I gotta watch that. It was my night.
Don't think I'll be on all night, because these guys stay up too late for jokes.
I know you're not gonna be on all night, but I always watch it anyway. But now I definitely watch, because they got to get you in. I don't know if they're gonna have their segment or whatever when they do the compare and contrast, or you got to get in there.
Hey, I'll do my best. I represent.
This is what is this? Their 50th one, right? All right. That super chat gonna be wide open, Team 100 tonight.
All right, all. Thanks for watching. We're glad everybody stopped by. Thank you for commenting. And please pray for Mike and Adam's mom, Carol. And I gather she's doing better. And thanks for making our stream good, worthwhile, expressing your opinions. And most of all, thanks, Will. So this is Mobile Geezer.
I gotta figure this out, George. One of these weeks, I'm gonna host a stream for you.
Okay, so be looking forward to that, folks. To Will hosting a stream. So meanwhile, we'll see you next week, either on Simply Your Device, Mike's channel, or on Mobile Geezer. I will let you know during the week. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next Friday.
All right.